Go ahead.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ofure Omonmhenle. Here with me are my group members, Seif, Bernard, Adetayo, and Tony. We're going to be discussing on how H&M managed the ethical and human rights issues affecting the company between the periods of 2012 to 2019. The aim of this presentation is to critically analyze the leadership styles adopted by Carl Johan Pearson in resolving the ethical and human rights issues faced by H&M with regards to failed promise of increments of minimum wage and the abuse of female employees, all occurring between the periods of 2012 to 2019. In the course of our research, we're going to be analyzing two predominant issues, which are the issues of wages and female abuse. After the allegations from more than 540 workers at H&M supply factories in several countries described incidents of threats and abuse, the report claims that these allegations recorded between 2012 and 2017 in countries such as Bangladesh, Cambodia, India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka are a direct result of pressures for quick turnarounds and low overheads. In an interview conducted by Spiegel International, Pearson was questioned about the wage situation, specifically on how $38 a month was deemed sufficient wages for the workers in H&M factories. In Pearson's response, he said, "We go with the Fair Wage Network standard." Spiegel examined 200 H&M suppliers with reference to their income structures and overtime regulations. They concluded that it is difficult to determine what exactly a minimum subsistence wage is. The Clean Clothes Campaign said H&M had not met a commitment made in 2013 to ensure that its suppliers would pay a living wage to some of its 850,000 textile workers by 2018. I will now be talking about the female abuse situation. Abuse against women is one of the most prevalent human rights violations. Gender-based violence is a direct attack on women's mental health and dignity. In 2018, there were multiple reports of allegations of sexual and physical abuse faced by garment workers in factories supplying H&M. According to this report, female garment workers face a series of victimization, verbal abuse, and even physical abuse by their supervisors as a result of not meeting unreasonable set targets because of pressure of fashion deadlines. Tola Moon, the then director of Central Cambodia, which is an NGO involved in this research, stated that abuse was a reality for female garment workers in H&M supply chain. During a dispute in the Bangalore factory over unfair wages and poor work conditions, a female tailor made reports that she was grabbed by the hair and punched by a supervisor. While in another H&M factory, another lady reported that she was physically abused as punishment for not meeting production quotas. There were a number of these reports of alleged abuse by female garment workers working in different H&M suppliers or supply factories in different countries that initially were scared to come forward because of fear of retaliation at the workplace by either their supervisors or their line managers. I'll be handing over the presentation to my colleague Taya. Thank you.
Thank you, Fure. So I'll be talking about the background of H&M and also about the wage issue. H&M is also known as Haynes and Moritz AB. It is a fashion company with products for women, men, and children. H&M's business concept is to offer fashion and quality at the best price in a sustainable way. The company engages in the design, fashion, development, distribution, marketing, and sale of clothing, accessories, beauty products, home interiors, and so much more. H&M was founded in 1947 by Erling Persson, and the headquarters are in Stockholm, Sweden. H&M operates in over 70 geographical regions. They currently run over 4,400 stores in 66 countries, and they produce clothing in their factories in several Asian countries. Carl Johan Persson had to step down in 2020 due to the identified ethical and humanitarian issues he was responsible for during his tenure as the CEO of the company. He was replaced by Helena Hermelsen in that same year. In response to the allegations of poor wages, in 2013, in 2013, Person promised changes in the company's approach toward human resources and ensured an investigation was conducted to analyze the possible reasons for such treatments in H&M factories. By 2018, Person's promise included communication and collaboration plans with international suppliers to increase wages in their factories to a level that would allow the workers to provide for their families. Person was also clear on giving out promises to increase the wages of the workers and eliminate child labor, which was predominant then in their factories. However, to determine living wages was actually the problem, as similar organizations also were guilty by not paying the recommended standards. In a lecture conducted by Person, he claimed that they had implemented a new approach in 3 factories, 2 in Bangladesh and 1 in Cambodia, in which the overtime was reduced by 50% and living wages were increased, and a better wage structure was implemented. His claims seem to be true to a certain extent, according to H&M's own data. And the average wage in the company's supplier factories in Bangladesh was only 86 euros per month, just slightly above the World Bank's 75 euros per month poverty threshold wages. So I'll hand you over to Seif to continue.
Thank you very much, Tayo. The main problem is, based on interviews with 62 workers from different H&M factories in Cambodia and Bangladesh as an example, none of the workers actually earned anything near a so-called living wage that would allow them to cover their family's basic needs. The Clean Clothes Campaign, CCC, said Sweden's H&M had not met a commitment made in 2013 to ensure its suppliers would pay a living wage to 850,000 textile workers by 2018. Although H&M do not own the production factories, which implies they are unable to set the wages of the workers themselves, there are various responses that were made toward resolving the living wages challenges in a bid to provide workers and their families better livelihoods and improved working conditions. The steps taken were setting clear standards and expectations for every supplier that makes H&M products, as well as taking actions if the standards are not met, which is clearly stated in H&M's sustainability commitment. Moreover, ensuring that the purchasing practices enable the payment of correct wages and helping suppliers implement effective wage management systems that classify jobs according to the skill level and pay workers according to their competence. Another step that was taken is providing education, services, and frameworks that empower workers to negotiate their own wages and supporting suppliers to improve working conditions in the factories. Finally, working with partners, peers, experts, and governments to improve wages at both industry level and country level. With that being said, H&M, being a founding member of the Action and Collaboration and Transformation Committee, alongside 18 other brands such as Zara and Primark, joining the global union industry that was created in 2014, was a vital step in highlighting 5 commitments for responsible purchasing and trying to have a positive impact in dealing with the wage issues. These commitments were: purchasing prices include wages as itemised costs, fair terms of payment, better planning and forecasting, undertake training on responsible sourcing and buying, and then finally, practice responsible exit strategies. These commitments help H&M to design and continually improve their purchasing practices. Now, moving on to the female abuse, in light of these allegations, H&M responded by condemning such actions of abuse of any nature, emphasizing that all forms of abuse and harassment are against everything H&M stands for. They also stated that an investigation is currently ongoing into these reports in each of the factories, and ties with any such supplier found liable will be terminated. Now, moving on to Tony. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Seif. So in the world today, there are so many leadership styles or roles, And for the sake of this report, we're going to be looking at three leadership styles. Firstly, let's look at the trait leadership style, which is also known as the great man theory. And many scholars have said that this type of leadership role is a stepping stone, and it's because there's a general assumption that is going to improve the organizational effectiveness and help them maximize their profits. However, it's not always that way. In terms of the style approach, it's broken down into two parts. One part, which is the task perspective, and the other part is the relationship perspective. Now, the task perspective focuses on how to make the organization maximize its full potential, and the relationship part is looking at how it takes care of the well-being of its employees or followers. Now we're going to look at the transformational leadership. These are authentic leaders, and they are leaders who empower both their followers or their staff and give them the opportunity and the avenue to grow and improve themselves while giving them a proper vision on how to achieve these targets. Based on what have been said by my colleagues, we've been able to analyze and evaluate how Carl Pearson resolved the situation, the ethical situations we're facing, and we can say that he has a transformational leadership role. And we say this because he had vision, and he was able to figure out ways to develop the ACT Act, which looked after wages. He also proposed a means to fine and ban people who have female abuse incidents in their factories without resolving them. And it was just a way to show that he's a transformational leader because he was able to motivate the employees to help them achieve the best possible targets. And if you look further, there's so many characteristics of a transformational leader, and some of them is that he's strategic, he's competent, he's determined, he knows how to motivate his followers. But however, in the case of Carl Pearson, he had elements of transformational leadership, but he didn't fully maximize or utilize this leadership skill because he wasn't determined enough to get the strategic plans he had over the line. Yes, we face challenges in every plan we have, or as a leader, but as a transformational leader, you should be able to get things over the line, and he wasn't able to get it over the line in terms of the wage, because up till now, H&M is still facing wage challenges, which the current CEO is trying to resolve as well. Based on everything that has happened, in terms of how he is handled the organization and the staff, if you analyze it with Martin Blake's management style, we can say this approach is middle of the road, because he didn't fully focus on the relationship of the well-being of the employees. He was more into the organizational aspects, but he couldn't fully maximize that because the employees were not happy. So we're going to move to Bernard, who is going to pick up from where I left off.
Thank you very much, Tony. We'll look at how Johann Carl Pearson utilizes corporate experience reducing the effect of the ethical and human rights violations in the company. Although he didn't focus on the well-being of the workers, but rather on the reputation and financial aspect of operations. Also, this suggests that Pearson is actually a manipulative a leadership style user, which is the act of leaders using their employers to attain their objectives. Manipulative leadership is quite selfish and exploits the aspirations of the employees for his gains. He knows very well their needs and desires, so he capitalizes on them to fulfill his own needs. He views these needs and desires as a tool to fulfill his aims. Employees do not trust such leaders. He must face the resentment of the employees at times. So based on all of these evaluations, we'll make some about 5 recommendations The first was the need for a detailed code of conduct for both suppliers and management of H&M operations in all countries where they operate. And this will also cover the wage structure and all permutations to prevent child labor and female abuse. And also, there should be an established agreement of paying a standard minimum wage between H&M and the suppliers in foreign countries to ensure that the workers are receiving enough money that is above the poverty line. Moreover, establish a clear understanding over the consequences of reported female abuse incidences. And then they should conduct training programs on ethical behavior for the management team and ensure an establishment of a communication strategy with the suppliers to ensure the application of ethical behaviors. Then fourth, implement the principle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs by ensuring the safety and psychological needs of the workers are taken care of. This will enhance their self-esteem level and develop them to their full potential. And last but not the least, to focus on developing the International Overseas Department to identify potential ethical dilemmas and provide a strategic overview on the probability and impact on both the organization and the workers. And this will take us to the Fiedler's contingency model, which analyzes Karl-Johan Persing's leadership style and the results of his decision-making in H&M daily operations between the years of 2012 to 2019, and also recommended that the new CEO should follow a relationship-oriented approach to ensure the safety and well-being of workers. So in conclusion, H&M large market share and reputation requires positive change towards their ethical behavior approach, as the company will not be able to handle financial losses and stakeholders will be left unsatisfied. Therefore, it will be suitable for the current CEO to adopt strategic leadership, because leaders use their skills and capabilities to help team members and organization achieve their long-term goals. Strategic leaders strive to get the best out of people or situations. Strategic leadership focuses on the well-being of employees and the application of ethical behavior in which H&M requires to achieve their vision as well as their mission. Thank you, everyone, team members, for putting up this wonderful report, and let's have a nice day.